Hello and welcome to today's webinar on managing your seller performance. My name is Hannah Hardiman and I'll be your host and presenter today. Before we get started, there's something important to note which is going to improve the quality of the presentation at your end. Please make sure that you're not running any programs, downloads or updates in the background which are using up bandwidth. They are likely to slow down the streaming of the presentation. If you share your internet connection with other people, please ask them to also do the same. If you're watching from home and anyone else in your household is downloading music, watching TV or movies on demand or playing online games, it's likely to slow down the video. So let's look at who this webinar is for today. So in putting together the content for any webinar, it is impossible for us to get it absolutely right for everyone listening in. So we've pitched the content of this webinar as an introductory to intermediate level and made sure that the content's relevant for people who are running a business on eBay rather than private users of the site who sell items from time to time. So about you, we've assumed you're an established business seller, you're running a business on eBay and you want to improve or maintain your seller level. And we've assumed that you already know how to list and sell on eBay and you're open to acting on what you've learned. Today we'll be sharing lots of practical tips and advice. We will be taking questions and answers throughout the session rather than taking a lot of time at the end. If you've got a question which is related to the content of today's webinar, you can type it into the Q&A box and one of the team will get back to you during the session. Please do keep your questions on topic. We may not be able to answer every single question in the time that we have, so we'll prioritise those which are about the topics we're covering today. And if you have a question which is specific to your eBay account, I'm afraid we can't give personalised answers today. You'd be much better off contacting eBay customer support via the help and contact button at the top of the eBay site. So let's have a look at what we're covering today. So managing your seller performance. We'll look at customer service in the UK, the buyer's view of customer service, the eBay money-back guarantee, seller performance standards on eBay, seller protection on eBay, save time on customer service, and what to do if you can't process orders due to holiday or sickness. And this webinar is part of a series of webinars which give you advice on how to grow your business on eBay. You need to register for each session individually and the links can be found on our Seller Centre. And that's at www.ebay.co.uk/growth. So I want more sales and to keep buyers coming back. Well, like the person shown here, I'm sure that you want more sales and to keep buyers coming back too. And having the right products for sale at the right price will go a long way to helping you achieve this. But the service you provide to your customers on eBay can also make a big difference. Before we go into the specifics, let's look at customer service in the UK more generally. It'll give us some context as to why seller performance on service is so important on eBay. So what are the implications of not having great customer service? Well, as you'll see from the overview shown on screen, the percentage of online shoppers who feel they've not received adequate service is quite high, with 1 out of 6 customers in the UK. Of course, this has a ripple effect with roughly nearly half of those claiming subpar customer service deciding not to go with a repeat purchase. I think we can all relate to this as we're also shoppers ourselves. We tend to remember the things that didn't go to plan and adjust our purchase decisions based upon those experiences. So what really qualifies bad customer service? Well, it starts with the basics. Whenever there's a question pre or post sales, online shoppers expect to receive an answer within a day, regardless if they've contacted an organisation via email or via their website directly. And if they're not getting that, they see it as poor customer service. So speed and responsiveness can be considered hygiene factors to be able to compete on customer service. And failures to do so may influence whether they're going to come back to you next time. So what do customers appreciate when it comes to customer service? Well, according to a recent study, the top performing organisations who score higher than others on customer satisfaction metrics specifically stand out on complaint handling. The handling of complaints is paramount to driving a satisfactory outcome for customers. Everybody understands there can be issues and challenges, but it's the way that customers react to problems that counts. This includes swift resolution and friendly acknowledgement of the issue. Here, of course, customer service staff are key, as that they are at the forefront of engaging with customers, especially when there are complaints. Ultimately, of course, the outcome and solution offered plays a huge role. But it's important to understand that this is only one facet of delivering on great customer service. Now, we also call customer service after-sales experience as well. So the next question is, if you invest in all of this and have the right people to help you provide great customer service, what's in it for you as an eBay seller? Why should you invest in your business to establish a great relationship with your customers on eBay and elsewhere? Well, it pays off on multiple levels. Satisfied customers are more likely to return to you and grow attached to your brand and your online presence. And sometimes going that extra mile for your customers might feel like a burden. But helping your customers in the moments when they need that extra attention helps to deliver long-term value, as they're much more likely to share their purchase experience with you, their immediate network, be it family or friends. When it comes to selling on eBay, the exact same parameters apply. Going the extra mile for your customers on eBay pays dividends and helps you stand out versus your competition. And we all know there's a lot of competition on eBay. And great experiences, areas shared with social circles, are a key reason why your users do or do not come back to shop with you on eBay. And ultimately, customer service drives loyalty. If we bring it all together and look at the recent trends and insight from the industry, it boils down to the fact that consistent customer service drives loyalty to you as a brand, shop, or service provider. And it might sometimes be hard to quantify all the intangible benefits of this, but the absence of providing great customer service can also hit your bottom line. Customer expectations around e-commerce are continuing to rise. Buyers are now getting used to nearly instant responses to their queries and questions before and after purchase. On eBay and elsewhere, we have to adjust to this new world. We need to help customers to find the item they want quickly. Currently, around 60% of transactions on eBay are touched by mobile, so people have checked a mobile at some point in that purchase. And people who shop in this way, in our experience, are becoming less and less patient. They've got limited time to read descriptions thoroughly. And average attention spans right now are at about 8 seconds, which really isn't much. This means in turn that your title, item specifics and photos are key to cutting through the clutter and making sure that shoppers find exactly the item that they want. And what you can do is make sure your listings accurately represent the product that you're selling. You've completed all the fields in your listing and included all the product identifiers and item specifics. Fast free delivery. Well, Amazon Prime is growing in popularity and shoppers are starting to get used to same-day or next-day free delivery. Argos is prominently advertising same-day delivery on their TV ads. On eBay, we include a flash on the search results to highlight that sellers qualify for fast and free. So what you can do is make sure that you've got eligible listings that are qualifying for fast and free. Dispatch times need to be accurate to generate an appropriate estimated delivery date on eBay. Flexibility in delivery options, for example, time deliveries, click and collect. So what you can do is just explore a few options there. Customers want to be kept informed but not pestered. It's a really fine balance, isn't it? Consumers are always connected via their mobile phones and they do expect to be kept informed. For example, tracking, courier notifications when their items are out for delivery, delivery confirmations. And so what you can do as a seller is make sure that if you do track your parcels, upload tracking. Think about using couriers which send SMS notifications or text messages. But don't scrape customers' details and then send them unsolicited marketing. So they do want to be kept informed about the purchase that they've made, but they don't really want you to come back to them and keep pestering them about things. There is a balance between communicating enough and also over-communicating. And the other thing I like to do is to share their views with others. Social media these days means that when people are upset, they do tend to say something about it online. So we need to just be mindful of that sometimes people will go straight to social media before they've even contacted you. So do what you can to keep people informed so they know what's going on. So let's now move into the eBay specifics and how this ties into providing great customer service. And for this, what we want to do is walk through the view of a typical eBay buyer and what they go through in their purchase experience, all the way from what we call consideration to after-sales service. So let's start at the beginning. The first stage in the buyer's journey is consideration, when they're looking at several listings and deciding which one to buy. Potential customers make decisions based on a variety of different factors. It's not always about who's the cheapest. They'll look at whether the item you're selling is exactly what they want, so make sure all the relevant information is contained in your listing. This doesn't just apply to your description text. It's about showing lots of pictures from different angles in your gallery, including the size and colour information and anything else that the buyer needs to know about the product to make a decision. Many buyers look at sellers' feedback before choosing who to buy from. And buyers can also look at and compare returns policies and any other policies that you state on your listings. If you're selling on eBay as a business, in almost all cases you're obliged to accept returns, even if the buyer just changed their mind. You're not allowed to charge a restocking fee or any other admin fee for processing a return. And if you're unsure what's allowed and what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do, please do get some legal advice about consumer rights. If you've had problems with buyers before, it can be tempting to put text in your listing designed to stop this happening again. But do be aware that genuine buyers could be put off by reading statements like "no time wasters" if they think you're reacting negatively to. They may think that you're going to react negatively to them asking you a question, and they might just decide to get in touch with somebody else. When buyers are weighing up all the options, it's important to stand out from the crowd, if that's possible. So ask yourself, what's my unique selling proposition, your USP, that's going to drive people to me versus other people? And there are lots of things you can do on eBay. You could offer promotional discounts, you could offer combined postage costs when they buy more than one item from you, you could offer extended returns periods, offer free postage by including it in your item's price, and so on. But whichever strategy you choose, it needs to work for your business. And if you're in low-margin, commoditized categories, you could see sales increases by running multi-buy promotions. If you sell high-priced items with a decent margin, you could offer free postage to help your listing stand out. There's no single silver bullet here, but all of this should be taken into account at the point where you're listing. So let's move into purchase. And on eBay in the UK, we process millions of items on a daily basis, and the vast majority go through without any problems at all. At the same time, we understand that sometimes there are challenges, and especially new buyers might present a challenge, even if they've had the best intentions for you as experienced sellers. For example, new buyers might not understand really how eBay works and don't pay immediately. Here our advice would be to message the member and don't be too quick to open an unpaid item case for a new buyer. So think about somebody with a 0 feedback rating or 1 or 2 feedback rating. They may not understand how things actually work. So a simple message explaining what they need to do next may be enough. We also understand that sometimes buyers don't really know how to take advantage of a discount that you offer because they maybe didn't put items into the basket and bought items individually. Or in the case of a promotion, they didn't add enough qualifying items to their basket. And this sometimes happens in the cases of buy one, get one free. They don't realise that they have to add the second item into their basket to see that discount trigger. They think that magically you'll know which item to send them as the free one. They may not understand that if they select different delivery options, that they may not then qualify for the postage discount. And an example here might be that they order 2 items from you, expect you to combine postage, but one is going to click and collect, and one they've opted to take first class mail to their home. And so obviously that's 2 different sets of parcels that you're sending out, and so the promotional postage won't kick in. So please do be assured that we are continuously trying to educate buyers on how to best take advantage of all the services our sellers provide, and that includes promotions. And lastly, we are well aware of the fact that there can be difficult buyers who change their mind and reach out to try and get out of a sale for the wrong reasons. Please be assured that we are taking actions needed. But again, the one thing we'd ask you to take away from this is by staying patient and responsive in those difficult situations, it will pay off. And in most cases, buyers don't have a malicious intent behind these scenarios, and there can be genuine situations where somebody says, yes, my toddler was playing on my phone and ordered by mistake, and you might think, yeah, right, okay, but it does actually happen, and it's actually happened to some friends of mine. So to go one level deeper on the buyer changing his mind, the reality of operating in an online e-commerce environment is that buyers or you sometimes need to cancel a purchase. For example, if the buyer sends you a message on eBay and you agree with going ahead and cancelling an order, please do the eBay cancellation flow. You can cancel this directly from My eBay, and you can let us know if you need to cancel or if the buyer requested you to cancel. And if the buyer requested the cancellation, it's really important that you mark it in that way to avoid potentially getting a defect. As usual, for PayPal paid transactions, you can trigger the automatic refund process directly within the cancellation flow in the case that your buyer's already paid, and you will receive your final value fees back. So, let's say that everything's gone smoothly so far, there's no cancellation, and the buyer's completed their purchase and paid. So the next crucial step for buyers in their minds is, well, will I get my item in time? And so it's key to setting realistic delivery dispatch dates and then marking the item as dispatched promptly so that customers are notified. And in the same way, notifications are circulated when you upload tracking information. There might be some scenarios as to why you can't dispatch. Maybe the buyer's address is incomplete or nonsense. Or if you or your staff find the item is sold out or damaged. Or maybe you're ill and you have a personal emergency, or you're on holiday or away. And in all those scenarios, do try to contact the buyer as soon as you can to let them know the situation and try to resolve things with them. And later in this webinar, we'll show you how to turn on holiday settings. Sharing tracking updates after dispatch is the other essential component here, as this will also protect you against any unjustified item not received requests that are raised. When everything goes smoothly with dispatch and delivery, you'll hopefully have a very happy buyer who'll recommend you to family and friends and come back to shop with you on eBay. However, the customer service doesn't stop here, as there's still a number of things that can happen. Maybe the buyer tells you they haven't received their item yet, or it's arrived damaged, or they think it's not the item that they ordered, or they've simply changed their mind and want to return. In any of these circumstances, again, it's key how you deal with the situation and how you deal with questions in a timely manner while being polite and trying to resolve the issues amongst yourselves. And we'll talk about the eBay Moneyback guarantee shortly, but for item not received requests, the advice from us is to check the estimated delivery date that was quoted to the buyer and make sure it was dispatched on time and that no issues with the carrier are known. It's worth noting that eBay ensures that buyers can't raise an item not received request to you before the estimated delivery date. And buyers could request a return for a number of reasons, and the quantity of return requests you receive can vary widely depending on the types of items you sell. For instance, if you sell in the fashion categories, you may find people ordering a few different sizes just to try them on and see which one fits, and then they want to send back the ones that don't fit. So there are a few tips about returns on eBay. Do use automation rules to try and speed up the process. Also, we're currently trialling a new process designed to give sellers more options when they believe that buyers may have given an incorrect return reason. And we know why that sometimes happens. Sometimes people don't fancy paying for a return when they've actually just changed their mind. Also consider offering free or extended returns periods to encourage more buyers to purchase. So that wraps up our section on customer service and the buyer view, and the important pillars that our buyers care about when they decide to buy from you. So let's switch gears now and focus on the eBay money-back guarantee, as we know that this is and will continue to be a hot topic for you when it comes to successful selling on eBay. eBay's going above and beyond some of the basic requirements from consumer rights law, to ensure that buyers keep coming back. And we do this through the eBay money-back guarantee. And just to clear up a myth, this is not designed to make sellers' lives difficult or to establish a buyer-favouring protection scheme that users can exploit. eBay introduced the money-back guarantee program to ensure that buyers can shop with peace of mind. We can help all of our customers in case they have a problem that they can't resolve amongst themselves. And when we say customers here, we also mean sellers, because customers doesn't just mean buyers on eBay. You're all customers. You as a seller are a customer of eBay. And we want to make sure that if you have a problem, you have a way to resolve that with your buyers. And while this is important for buyers, it's equally important for sellers, because turning around a bad experience and supporting customers keeps them shopping and selling on the site. This in turn helps everybody to sell more. And to put it another way, we don't want our good sellers to be penalised for issues that buyers experience with just a few selected sellers that can impact everybody's sales. So the eBay money-back guarantee provides buyers with a platform to raise post-purchase issues that they might have directly with the seller, you. By doing this, we increase confidence in the marketplace, which in turn keeps and attracts buyers to eBay. The program also allows us as eBay to know what's going on in the marketplace. And it's only if we know what's going on that we can help both buyers and sellers who are unable to find a solution with their trading partners. By maintaining this process on the marketplace, eBay can maintain full visibility on communications and interactions related to a transaction, which is in turn used to ensure that, if needed, a fair and just outcome is reached for both parties. And this is why it is so important that all the communications that you have with your buyers are via eBay's systems, because if something goes wrong and you're telling us, well, on a phone call or an email that I sent directly to the buyer, we agreed X, eBay's got no visibility of that. And so we can only rely on the information that is shared on the eBay platform. So there are two main scenarios where the eBay money-back guarantee process kicks in: when a buyer said the item hasn't arrived, and situations where the buyer said the item is not as described. So it's not the item that they were expecting. So handling an item not received request. Let's talk about the scenario where you receive a request from a buyer who's not received an item. And of course, and I'm going to say the most important thing to do is respond quickly and communicate them. If you've already sent the item, make sure that you upload tracking information if you haven't done so already. And if you have already uploaded tracking information, just verify that it's correct. It's sometimes happened that people put a typo in the tracking number, so make sure that it is correct and update the buyer, because it's only when we can see that there's a valid tracking number on there that we can see what's happened to your parcel. And if you don't have tracking information, let the buyer know when and how you sent the item and provide any additional details. And if you feel that the item may have been lost in transit, consider sending the buyer a replacement or refund the buyer. And ask eBay to step in and help if you feel that you really can't resolve the issue. The second scenario is when a buyer raises a request because they feel the item they received is not what they ordered. And eBay fully understands that there is some subjectivity in this. But the key is to understand that you always have the option to communicate and resolve this with your buyer. And when you do get situations like this, try not to take it personally. Do your best to help them. Be responsive to your buyer and, as needed, clarify their request. You have the option to accept the return and then refund upon getting the item back, or find an alternative solution that does not result in a return, such as a partial refund or a refund without needing the buyer to return the item. And that's typically used for low-value items, where it's just easier to write the item off. So, what's key here is that if you get stuck with your buyer and feel that their request is unjustified, we do offer the same support to you as we do to buyers. If you feel that you're getting these requests more frequently than you should, take an honest look at your listings first to see if there might be too much room for interpretation. And since more and more people are shopping on their mobiles, make sure that relevant information is included in the title and item specifics. Check that the condition matches to buyer expectations, and consider adding more detailed photos. But also remember that you can't rely on putting everything in the description anymore. Some mobile buyers just don't click through to read it. So what happens when eBay steps in? When a request is escalated, eBay will run a number of automated checks to look for things such as tracking information, responses from both parties, and eligibility checks, as well as analysing account histories to highlight suspicious buyer behaviour. After these checks are completed, one of our representatives will review the information available before making a decision. In cases where more information is needed or when time is needed to allow tracking to update, we might utilise holds to allow more time before an outcome is decided on. In cases where we find that you've resolved the buyer's issue, we will close the case with no negative impact to your account. If we find in favour of the buyer, however, you may be asked to reimburse us for any refund that's issued to the buyer. A last question we're asked frequently is, how does eBay Moneyback Guarantee interact with PayPal's protection program? If a buyer opens cases on the PayPal platform, they'll not be able to open one on the eBay platform, even in cases where the PayPal case has been closed. If the PayPal case is opened after the eBay case has been opened, the eBay case will be automatically cancelled. In the event of a buyer filing a case on PayPal, you should ensure that you respond to and attempt to resolve the case in the same manner as cases that you would on the eBay platform. Seller performance standards on eBay. We first introduced our standards program in 2010 in response to the ever-evolving needs of buyers. Our seller performance standards recognise when you deliver a great buyer experience, so we can reward the very best sellers. When you give great customer service to your customers, it benefits your business and keeps those happy customers coming back for more, which ultimately translates into repeat customers for both you and for eBay. One of the ways that we reward sellers who provide the best customer service is through seller levels. eBay isn't the only marketplace which sets standards for sellers trading on the platform. It's important that anyone shopping on eBay knows what to expect from sellers and to be able to identify which sellers deliver a consistently good service to customers and which don't. As we go through the next few slides, I'll take you through the seller levels and also show you how to monitor and ultimately improve your seller performance. The purpose of standards is to reward sellers who provide experiences that buyers love. Buyer expectations change over time, and generally speaking, they're becoming even more demanding. It's important that standards change to reflect these expectations as they continue to evolve, and ensures we're all delivering what matters to eBay buyers. And whilst we make efforts to ensure that the level of change from your perspective is minimised, it is inevitable that we must all continue to adapt with the ever-changing marketplace. And so if your perception is that we keep moving the goalpost and why can't the seller performance standards stay fixed, that's the reason why. We don't just do it for fun. We evaluate your selling on the 20th day of each month based on a group of metrics called seller standards, and the results determine your seller level from the following: eBay top-rated seller, above standard or below standard. eBay top-rated sellers are rewarded with exclusive benefits such as maximum listing visibility in the natural search results and eligibility for discounts on final value fees. However, below standard sellers may see a decrease in visibility across their listings. They may also be subject to selling and listing restrictions. On screen now, you'll see a summary of the key points for seller performance standards. You can see a more detailed breakdown on the Seller Centre. Just search for Seller Level Standards. For all levels of seller, we measure the same elements of a transaction with different thresholds set to help us determine your standing. When we consider our minimum standard, we look at a maximum defect rate of 2% and a late shipment rate of no more than 9%. To become top rated, we expect sellers to go a little bit further. If you missed the announcement, some of these levels change from the 20th of August. What you can see on screen now is the situation as it will be as of the evaluation on the 20th of August. When it comes to maintaining or improving your standard, the first thing everyone needs to know is where they currently stand. To keep an eye on your standings, I would encourage everybody listening to regularly review your seller's dashboard where you can see your current standings, your projected standings. And that's based on a real-time snapshot of transactions and issues impacting the current evaluation cycle. From your dashboard, you can also review the existing defects or late deliveries that might impact on your seller level. The data is made available to you to allow you to review for any trends impacting your business, so you can then take steps to address issues, the ones that are within your control. How to maintain or improve your level. When we think and talk about maintaining or increasing your seller standard level, what we're really talking about is providing the best possible pre- and post-transaction service to buyers. To reduce any possible buyer experience issues, there are a number of things that you should aim for in all transactions. So in most cases, if you're able to do these three things, it's unlikely that you'll ever fall below standard. So describe your item accurately, including lots of pictures and item specifics in your listing. Make sure your dispatch time is accurate, and manage inventory and keep items well stocked. Also, respond promptly to and politely to questions from your buyers. Clearly state your returns and payment policies and offer a 30-day or better returns policy where that's possible for you. And although the last 3 points there will most likely keep you above standard, we expect a little bit more from our top-rated sellers. By completing these additional items, you'll increase your likelihood of maintaining or achieving top-rated status and the benefits that come with it. Whilst eBay and buyers value the pre-transaction experience, it's also critical to remember that the experience doesn't end at the point of purchase. Sometimes issues will come up that are not always within your control, but it's how you address them. If your buyer experiences an issue after the sale, there are a couple of key things that will help you to maintain that relationship and ensure that your buyers get the best possible experience at any point in the transaction. So, dispatch your items on time and keep your buyer informed by marking as shipped or adding tracking information. Respond quickly to item not received or returns requests, and where possible, streamline your response by automating return approvals. And lastly, if you offer your buyer a refund, issue it in as timely manner as is possible. So let's talk about the benefits of becoming an eBay top-rated seller. Well, nothing additional is required to become an eBay top-rated seller. All you need to do is provide an excellent customer service experience over a period of time. If you continue to do this and achieve your top-rated status, you'll be able to get the following benefits. Maximum visibility in natural search results. If you can prove to us that you're a top seller, we want to ensure that that translates to better turnover for you, to ensure that we can all grow together. Discounted final value fees for sales completed on both the UK and Irish platforms. And also top-rated badging to appear on your listing so that we can highlight to buyers that you have a proven track record in providing excellent service. Another benefit that we offer to our top-rated sellers is the eBay Premium Service Badge. And this badge will automatically be added to listings that meet the following criteria: a 30-day returns option or better, same day or one-day dispatch, and offer an express delivery option which provides delivery within 1 day. If you sell to buyers in different countries, you'll also be assessed on your performance in other countries. Whilst you may naturally keep a closer eye on your standards on your core market, it's also important that you apply the same concentration to items which are selling outside of the UK. Like your core market performance, you can monitor this from your existing seller dashboard, simply by toggling the region setting as highlighted. If you sell on other countries' eBay sites, you can become an eBay top-rated seller based on your transactions with buyers in those countries. If you qualify for the US, German or global programs, your listings will enjoy improved visibility and the eBay top-rated seller badge on those sites. We currently have standards programs for the UK and Ireland, as well as USA, Australia, Germany and Austria. For all other countries, you'll need to meet the global seller performance standards. And to see how you're doing on those metrics, select Global as your region on the Seller Standards dashboard. We've spoken a bit now on what you can do to attain an above standard or top rating standing. But now I want to just switch a little and talk about the things that can have an impact on those standings. The things that are going to give you defects. When we talk about defects, we essentially mean one of two things: a transaction that you've cancelled because you're out of stock or you couldn't fulfill an order, or a resolution centre case which you've not resolved and eBay has subsequently found in favour of the buyer. For the majority of cases, you can avoid these issues impacting you by ensuring your stock is up to date and in good condition as well. We don't want to be showing items as in stock, but they've been damaged in some way, and also responding promptly to any open requests from your buyers. And on that point about the seller cancelled transaction, if you're contacted by a buyer who asks you to cancel the transaction, it's really important that you indicate when you're cancelling it that it was the buyer who initiated that. Otherwise, it's going to be seen as a seller cancelled transaction and you'll get a defect as a result. If you want to view the details of transactions which have resulted in defects to better understand the root cause, you can access reports via your seller dashboard, which includes all related transactions in the current evaluation period. When we've looked into what's really important to buyers, one of the top things that they've told us is that they want their items on time. And because of the importance this holds to buyers, we introduced the on-time shipping or late delivery metric to measure the rate of transactions where you either ship on time or the item gets delivered on time. We'll consider a delivery on time when one of the following criteria is met. You upload tracking within your stated handling time and the carrier provides us with an acceptance scan. Your tracking indicates a delivery within the estimated delivery time. Your buyer confirms the item was received on time. Late delivery is one of the metrics we use to determine whether you can qualify for top-rated seller status. Your performance in the late delivery metric cannot cause you to receive a below standard rating, but this shouldn't in any way take away the importance of achieving this metric. Although you don't have to provide tracking information, we recommend doing so that you've got more control over your performance. Late delivery rate explained. For a transaction to be considered not on time, one of the following must be true. You mustn't have provided tracking and your buyer says that the item arrived after the estimated delivery date. You provide tracking that shows an acceptance after your dispatch time and the item arrives late, or the buyer does not confirm the item arrived on time. Although not having tracking will not necessarily impact this, it will give you more control over the transactions that do impact this metric. So really important here, send it out on time and make sure that you upload tracking so that we can see if the item has actually started to come through on the right time. And if for any reason you're not able to dispatch on time, do let your buyer know, and make sure that if you're going to be away from your business for a couple of days, or maybe you're going on holiday, that you've made provisions for that. And I'll show you how to do that when we look at holiday settings. Like your defect reports, you can also access reports that show all of the transactions that are impacting your late delivery metric from your seller dashboard view. Similar to how we measure defect rates and evolve based on what's most applicable to customers, we've also evolved how we apply the impacts of going below standard. From the 20th of October 2016, if your seller level becomes below standard, you'll find clear, actionable guidance on how to get back on track on your seller standards dashboard. In addition to giving you a clear status alert, your seller dashboard will provide a detailed look into why you're not meeting our minimum seller standards. We'll also provide advice on how to help resolve the issues that may have caused your status to be below standard. To help you stay focused on improving your performance, we'll defer any performance-based selling limits or selling restrictions on your account for 3 months. But please note the 3-month period doesn't apply to other performance-related consequences, such as lower search placement, funds hold, and the loss of featured and anchor shop privileges. Other eBay policy violations could also result in selling limits or selling restrictions on your account. If after those 3 months your status is still below standards, but you're showing improvement, we'll continue to defer any selling restrictions or limits on a monthly basis. Showing improvement means your defect rate or rate of cases closed without a seller resolution, or both, is lower than they were when you entered below standards. You can check your seller standards dashboard anytime to monitor your progress and see how much time you have to improve your performance. Holiday settings. If you're going to be away, avoid leaving buyers hanging by using the eBay shop holiday settings. You can make your fixed price listings unavailable and show buyers a message to let them know there might be a delay in receiving their purchases. In addition to hiding your fixed price listings, you can help avoid negative feedback and poor detailed seller ratings by showing buyers a message to let them know that you're away. You can display a holiday message in your listings and display a holiday message in your eBay shop. You can also send out an out-of-office reply. If you don't have a shop subscription, please adjust your handling time to reflect the length of your holiday. In addition to hiding your fixed price listings, and that means they're not going to show up in search, you can help avoid negative feedback and poor detailed seller ratings by showing buyers a message to let them know you're away. So, displaying a holiday message in your listings. When you turn on holiday settings, we place an automated message above the item descriptions of all of your active listings so that buyers know you're away. It's a good idea to select a date by which you're expected to return. You can come back to the holiday settings page to change this date if needed. So, for example, maybe you're not on holiday, but maybe you're sick and need some time to recover. You can also update your shop listing frame to let buyers know you're away. And when you turn on your holiday settings, you can also write a customized message which will display in your eBay shop. Please do bear in mind that even when you've got your shop on holiday and you've got the message displaying on your listings, that the estimated delivery date will continue to be displayed as normal. And that's while you're away. So to avoid any problems, we strongly recommend adjusting your handling time. So that applies whether you have a shop and you're showing these messages or you don't have a shop. If you're going to be away for 1 week, add a week to your handling time, and that will automatically adjust the estimated delivery dates so that you can process those orders when you get back to business. If you're just away for a couple of days, add a couple of days. If you're going to be away for 2 weeks, adjust it by 2 weeks. But make sure that you adjust your handling times so that you're not giving a misleading estimated delivery date to your buyers. Switching on your holiday settings is just notifying buyers that there might be a delay and that you're away. So if you want to change the estimated delivery date which is shown to your potential buyers, you really need to adjust your handling times. If you're going to be away for quite some time, it might be better to just end your listings and then renew them when you get back. Although your listings will be hidden in search, if somebody has still got the link to your listings, they can still go ahead and buy. So turning on your holiday settings, where do we do this? Well, just go into messages and select change settings, and from that it's fairly straightforward just to set that up. Okay, so putting it all into practice now. Some top tips. So stay on track with your performance and try to improve your performance by responding to questions and requests promptly. Make a note to log in and check your seller standards dashboard at least once a month. Now, I know there are some sellers listening who will do this on a daily basis. Now, that might be seen as a little bit over the top by some sellers, but it works for them. If you don't sell on eBay so regularly, then checking at least once a month will help you to stay on track, but you could probably check it a little bit more frequently than that. Check for any issues and see what your projected seller level is. If you sell internationally, make sure you check the other regions as well. If you're a larger business and you've got a team working with you, maybe you have somebody who helps and supports you over the summer holidays. Maybe it's a relative. Maybe it's somebody else who's helping you in your business. You can download a PDF version of this webinar. There's a section on the left-hand side called Resources, and you can download it from there. You can also listen to this replay as many times as you like. And when we upload this onto the Seller Centre, we'll put some indications on the timings of when we got to each section so that you can go straight to the section that you're interested in. You don't need to listen to the whole webinar all over again. Do take some time to take your team through the content of this webinar so that they understand the implications of getting a defect or things being marked as late, or what sort of impact this can have on your seller level. And if you have any new joiners, get them to watch the replay of the webinar. Make sure they understand how eBay works and the implications of requests not being responded to quickly, so that if they look at your inbox and they see that there's a return request, they don't think, oh, I'm finishing work soon, I'll let somebody else deal with that in the morning, that they understand that it is really important that they deal with it there and then. So what we've covered today, we've covered some customer service in the UK, we've looked at the buyer's view of customer service, we've looked at the eBay money-back guarantee, seller performance standards on eBay, and also seller protection, what you can do to protect yourself on eBay. And I think that's a really important aspect, that a lot of the time there's a perception that we're only there to protect buyers. That's not the case. If you have a problem, you can get in touch with eBay, but there's also things that you can do yourself as a seller to make sure that you're protecting yourself against any problems. An example here is tracking information. If you're selling expensive items, it makes sense to send them using a service where you can track where that item is. Maybe it's something desirable and you think, I don't know if I trust that will get there. Just make sure that you can track all the way. But that doesn't always make sense for every business. We've also shown you a few ways that you can save time on customer service, and also what you can do if you can't process orders due to holiday or sickness or another kind of emergency that means that you have to just close your business down for a couple of days. If you do have any more questions on the topic of seller performance, we are going to leave the line open for a little bit longer so we can take a few more questions. I know my colleagues have been answering questions as we've been going through the webinar, so I hope that you've seen answers to many of your questions in there. This is a topic where typically we do get asked a lot of questions. I mean a lot of questions, and you may have submitted some questions when you registered to attend the webinar. The chances are we're not going to be able to answer everybody's queries, and one of the things that I noticed when I looked at some of the questions submitted in advance was quite a number of people had put very, very specific things about their eBay account and a problem they were having. Unfortunately, the webinar environment isn't the place where we can get those questions resolved for you. It's going to take a little bit more time. So if you do have some questions and concerns that really are specific to your selling account, maybe you've got a problem, maybe something's happened and you think, oh, actually, I'm not sure if it went exactly to plan, or not sure if that feels right, do get in touch with eBay's customer support. And you can access this through help and contact when you go to the eBay homepage. So ebay.co.uk, go to the desktop version, so the one that you would see on your laptop or on your computer. And that's the best way to get some help that's about your account. But if you've got more general questions, then we do have a discussion board that's available. So you can go onto the eBay community, and you access that by going to, again, on the desktop version of the site, not mobile version, desktop version. That's the best way to do it. You can access the community through mobiles, but I find there's a lot of information on there, and not everybody likes tapping in long messages on a keyboard on a mobile phone. So best to do it on a computer or laptop. Go to ebay.co.uk, go all the way to the bottom of the page, and then look for the link that says community. If there aren't a set of links there, there's a box on the right hand side where you can press on that, and that will open it up so that you can access community there, and go to the discussion board that's about selling on eBay and eBay growth webinar discussions. You can also watch replays of other webinars by going to www.ebay.co.uk/growth. That will take you to a page on our Seller Centre where you can watch archived versions of all of the webinars, and these will all have timestamps, so you can go to the right section on each of those webinars, so you don't have to listen to the whole thing all over again. Now, when you leave the webinar, we are going to have a survey come up for you, so do stick around. Leave the page open while we finish up the webinar so that you can answer the survey. It is really useful to us to get feedback from you, to know what you liked about the webinar, what you didn't like about the webinar. We're taking a lot of people's comments on board. It also helps us to make sure that the information that we have on our Seller Centre and our help pages is as helpful as it possibly can be. And this is one environment where we are able to see a lot of your questions coming up and figure out whether there are some extra things that we need to add to those pages. So do give some feedback on that survey. So I will just leave this open for a couple more minutes now to let my team answer a few more questions of yours. As I say, we may not get to your question, so please don't take it personally. It's not that, it's that we have a high volume of questions being asked in this webinar, and some of them require fairly detailed responses, so it can take a little bit of time to get to that. So I will just leave it open for a few more minutes, and then we'll close down the webinar fairly shortly. Thank you for listening. Bye.